Hello everybody, this is Refresh and I'm here to bring you a battle between the two Kaldheim commander decks. Over here we have Phantom Premonition and over there we have Elven Empire. We'll be playing a single game with full commander rules, but it'll just be a one-on-one. Go ahead and get started by rolling to see who goes first. Phantom Premonition rolls 6. Elven Empire rolls 3. Phantom Premonition will go first. Phantom Premonition draws a Plains, a Hero of Bredegard, Replication Ring, Mistraven, Angel of Serenity, Thunderclap Wyvern, and Core Cartographer. The one-lander is a no-keeper, so we'll mulligan down to 6. Our second hand includes a Plains, a Mist Middle Witch, an Island, an Arcane Signet, an Island, and a Vega the Watcher. I think this is an entirely keepable hand, especially thanks to the Arcane Signet, and we will be dumping one of our lands to the bottom of the deck. Elven Empire draws a Poison the Cup, Forest, Marwyn the Nurturer, Sylvan Messenger, Pride of the Perfect, Casualties of War, and Ruthless Winnower. We can't keep a one-lander, so we're going to mulligan. Elven Empire draws a Myriad Landscape, Elderfang Venom, Casualties of War, Jagged Scar Archers, Forest, Voice of the Many, and Pride of the Perfect. This is not a great hand, but we have 2 lands, and if we just draw one more, then the Myriad Landscape can do something. So I think we're going to keep this. We'll take the Casualties of War to stick that on the bottom. Phantom Premonitions will begin by playing an island, and we'll pass a turn. Elven Empire draws and gets a Moldavine Reclamation. We'll play a Forest and pass the turn. Phantom will draw an Island. We'll play a Plains. We'll tap both of these and then we will cast the Arcane Signet. This is an artifact. It can tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity, and we will pass the turn. Elves draws a Command Tower. We'll play the Command Tower and then we will pass the turn. Phantom untaps. We draw Plains, we'll play a Plains, and then since we want to get the value, we're going to tap these 3 lands and then cast Vega the Watcher. It's a 2/2 legendary bird spirit with flying, and whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, draw a card, and then we'll pass a turn. Elves draws a Forest, we'll play the Forest, we'll tap, and we'll cast the Jagged Scar Archers. This is a Star Elf Archer, and its power and toughness are equal to the number of elves you control. And you can tap it to deal damage equal to its power to target creature with flying. Phantom untaps. Draws another island. We'll play an island. We'll tap 4 mana. We'll cast your commander, Ranar the Ever-Watchful. This is a 2/3 legendary spirit warrior with flying and vigilance. The first card you foretell each turn costs 0 to foretell, and whenever you exile 1 or more cards from your hand and or permanents from the battlefield, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Because we cast a card from the command zone, which is not our hand, we'll draw a card. And that is a Meteor Golem. And we will attack with Vega the Watcher. Elves will take 2 and go to 38. Phantom passes a turn. Elves untap. Draws an Abomination of Llanowar. Play the Myriad Landscape. It's a land and it's a battlefield tap. You can tap it for colorless, and you can pay 2 tap and sacrifice it to search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. We'll then spend 3 mana to cast the Abomination of Llanowar. This is a Star legendary elf horror with vigilance and menace, and its power and toughness are each equal to the number of elves you control plus the number of elves cards in your graveyard. So now both of these are 2/2s, and then we will immediately tap the Jagged Scar Archers to deal 2 damage to Vega. Vega dies, and then Elves pass the turn. Phantom untaps. Draws Brago King Eternal. We'll play an island, and then we'll spend 4 mana and cast Brago King Eternal. This is a 2/4 legendary spirit noble with flying. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile any number of target non-land permanents you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under your control. We'll also spend 2 more mana to cast Mist Meadow Witch. This is a 1/1 Kithkin Wizard. You can spend 2 white and blue to exile target creature, return the card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Go ahead and attack with Ranar the Ever-Watchful. Elves take 2 and goes to 36. Phantom passes the turn. Elves untap. Draw a Jungle Hollow. We'll play the Jungle Hollow. It's a land that enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. And you can tap for black and green. We'll go up to 37. We'll tap out and play Pride of the Perfect. This is an enchantment. Elves you control get +2/+0, making them both 4/2s. Go ahead and tap the Jagged Scar Archers to deal 4 damage to Brago King Eternal. Brago dies. And then we'll attack with Abomination of Llanowar. Phantom will take 4 and go to 36. Elves pass the turn. Phantom untaps. Draws an island. We'll play another island. We'll tap out. And then cast the Meteor Golem. This is a 3/3 artifact golem. And when it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-land permanent an opponent controls. We will target the Jagged Scar Archers. The Jagged Scar Archers die. And then we'll attack with Ranar the Ever-Watchful. Elves take 2 and goes to 35. Phantom passes. Elves untap. Draws a forest. We'll play the forest. We'll tap 5 mana. And cast Moldavine Reclamation. This is an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Elves feels pretty secure that they're not going to block the Abomination of Llanowar, so we'll attack with Abomination of Llanowar. Phantom doesn't block, go down to 32. Elves passes the turn. Phantom attacks. Draws an island. We'll play an island. We'll go to combat and swing with Ranar. Elves take 2 and goes to 33. Phantom will spend 4 mana and use the Mistmeadow Witch's ability to blink the Meteor Golem. The Meteor Golem leaves the battlefield, and it will trigger Ranar the Ever-Watchful. You get a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. We'll go to the end step, which will cause the Meteor Golem to re-enter the battlefield. We'll target the Moldavine and the Reclamation. The Moldavine Reclamation goes down. Then Phantom will pass the turn. Elves untap. Draws a Return Upon the Tide. We'll spend 5 mana and cast Return Upon the Tide. This is sorcery. It says return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's an elf, create 2 1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens and foretell for 3 and black. We're returning the Jagged Scar Archers. As it returns, we'll create 2 elves. We still feel comfortable attacking, so we'll attack with the Abomination of Llanowar, which has now been pumped up to a 6/4. Phantom takes 6 and goes to 26. At the end of combat, Phantom will tap 4 mana and reuse the Mistmeadow Witch's ability to exile the Meteor Golem. We'll create another spirit, and as Elves go to the end step, the Meteor Golem will return. It'll re-enter the battlefield, and we will target the Jagged Scar Archers. The Archers die again, and the Elves' turn ends. Phantom untaps, draws a momentary blink. We'll go to combat and swing with 1 spirit and Ranar for 3. Elves take 3 and go to 30. Phantoms will play an island. We'll tap 4 mana and we'll again blink the Meteor Golem. The Meteor Golem will exile. We'll trigger Ranar's ability and get another spirit token. The Meteor Golem will re-enter the battlefield. This time it will target the Abomination. The Abomination is destroyed and Phantom's turn ends. Elves untap. Draws a forest. We'll play the forest. We see trouble coming on the horizon. We'll spend 4 mana and cast Elder Fang Venom. It's an enchantment. Attacking elves you control have death touch, and whenever an elf you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We really can't defend against the flyers, and so we'll attack with the 2 elven warriors at 3/1 each. Phantoms can afford to block. We'll block each with a spirit. Everything will trade. The 2 elf warriors die. That will trigger the Elder Fang Venom, and elves will gain 2 while Phantom loses 2. Elves go back up to 32. Phantom goes down to 24. Elves go to the end step, before which Phantom will tap 4 more mana, blink out the Meteor Golem again, getting another spirit from Ranar, and then at the end step the Meteor Golem will return and we will target the Elder Fang Venom. The Elder Fang Venom dies. Elves' turn ends and the Phantoms untap. Phantom draws a Cryptic Caves. We'll play the Cryptic Caves. This is a land. You can tap for colors, pay 1 and sacrifice it to draw a card. Activate this ability only if you control 5 or more lands. We'll go to combat, and since the board is empty, we'll swing with everybody. Elves take 8 and go to 24. Then spirits will spend 4 mana and again blink the Meteor Golem. We'll get another spirit. The meteor golem will return. It'll destroy the Pride of the Perfect. Pride is destroyed. As the Phantom goes to its end step, Elves will tap 2 mana and use the ability of the Myriad Landscape. We'll sacrifice it and search for 2 swamps. We'll shuffle. Phantom's turn ends and the Elves will untap. Elves draws a Path of Ancestry. We'll play the Path of Ancestry. It's a land enters the battlefield tapped. You can add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. When this mana is spent to cast a creature of that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. Voice of the Many isn't going to do much for us right now. If you cast Lathril, Lathril's just going to die to the Meteor Golem, and so there's no point to casting anything at this moment. We're going to have to look for an answer to the Meteor Golem, so Lathril will pass the turn. Even though there are no permanents left to destroy, we'll still use the Miss Meadow Witch's ability again to bounce the Meteor Golem. We'll get another Spirit token, and it'll return to the battlefield, and we will choose no targets because there are no legal targets. And then Elves' turn will end, and Phantom will untap. Phantom draws a Geist Honored Monk. Board is clear. We'll go ahead and go attacking with everybody. That's 10 damage that Elves can do nothing about. They'll go to 14. I'd want to cast the Geist Honored Monk, but we actually would not be able to hold up our blink shenanigans, and so to protect our combo we're going to decline to cast that, but we will spend 1 mana and sacrifice the Cryptic Caves to draw a card. We draw a Hero of Bredegard. We'll spend 3 mana to cast the hero. This is a 1/1 hero human warrior, and whenever you exile 1 or more cards from your hand and or permanents from the battlefield, put that many +1/+1 counters on a Hero of Bredegard. As long as Hero of Bredegard has 5 or more counters, it has flying and is an angel in addition to its other types. As long as it has 10 or more counters, it is indestructible and is a god in addition to its other types. But we are just going to hold up our mana to protect our combo, and we will pass the turn. Elves untap. Draw. We have a forest. We'll play the forest. We're going to need some help here, so we're actually going to start casting all of our spells. We'll spend 4 mana to cast Lathril from the command zone using the Path's ability. We'll scry 1. We'll take a look at the top card, which is an Arcane Signet. We'll stick that on the bottom. And then we'll spend 4 more mana to cast the Voice of Many. This is a 3/3 Elf Druid, and when it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each opponent who controls fewer creatures than you. We definitely have the least number of creatures here, and so now we have 2 permanents at the very least. We'll move towards the end step. Seeing that the Elves are empty-handed, we'll spend 4 mana and reactivate the Miss Meadow Witch's ability to bounce the Meteor Golem. We'll gain another spirit represented by this die here, and then we'll also put a counter on the Hero of Bredegard. The Meteor Golem will return and will destroy Voice of Many. The Voice of Many is destroyed. That'll end Elves' turn, and Phantoms will untap. Phantom draws a Myriad Landscape. We'll play the Myriad Landscape. We're going to swing with the Meteor Golem and all the flyers. We can't do too much about that. We'll take 10 and go to 4. Phantoms will use the Miss Meadow Witch's ability again. We'll bounce the Meteor Golem. We'll get another now untapped spirit. The Meteor Golem will return and will destroy Lathril. This will also give the hero another counter. Lathril dies, and Phantoms will pass the turn. Elves untap. Draws the swamp. We'll play the swamp. We will recast Lathril from the command zone for 6 because of the commander tax. We'll scry 1. Tigger's Shadow on the bottom. And then Elves will pass the turn. Phantoms will again bounce the Meteor Golem before the end step. The Meteor Golem will exile. We'll get another spirit and another counter. The Meteor Golem will return and destroy Lathril. Lathril dies, and the Elf's turn ends. Phantom untaps. Draws an island. We'll play the island. I think this is an easy kill. We'll just swing with everybody. That is lethal damage, and Elves are out of gas, and so the Phantom Premonition will win the day thanks to its powerful engine and the Elves' inability to draw an answer. That is it for these two commander decks. We'll be playing some additional games against the challenge decks, so you'll be able to see additional cards and interactions in these decks. Let me know what you thought about the battle in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more of my videos, you can hit subscribe. This was Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.